Lunchtime, kids! All right! Hello, friends. It's lunchtime.
And here we are in the RNCN studios for the Lunch Break Show. I am Josh Hart, here with Matt Stoker and Zach Lewis, and joined by a very special guest close to our hearts, Clint David. How's it going there, sir?
What's going on, Josh? Good to be back.
So this is the Lunch Break Show. We do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from noon to 1. And essentially what we do is we find things that are trending, topical, what's kind of happening in our area, and we bring it here. And we're open on Facebook, so you can, for the first time, we're actually live right now on Facebook. So you can add comments and scroll through, and we will be reviewing those. And we can answer your comments live on the air. The first topic we have today was something that our own Matt Stoker saw in the break room. And it grossed him out a little bit, and he wanted to bring it to the table and find out what the decorum is.
Well, I felt it deserved discussion, at least. So we are right across from a cafeteria. They serve all sorts of foods, hot foods, cold foods, whatever you want. So there was a gentleman walking away from the cafeteria. He had his food packaged up in a styrofoam container. He had a plastic fork on top of it, ready to go eat. I don't know where he was headed, but he was headed somewhere. And he got a few steps outside of the cafeteria in front of this elevator area and tilted his food a little bit, and the plastic fork fell on the ground.
Oh, no.
Hit the ground right in front of him and the world. And I would say without hesitation, he looked down, reached, grabbed the fork, set it back on his styrofoam container, and went about his way. So I thought might be nice to pose the question, what do you do in a situation like that? Is it right to go back and get yourself another fork, or do you stick with the fork that you brought and stick with what brung you and just eat it anyway?
So when you pose that question, I saw Clint's eyes kind of widen, and he goes, I actually have a pretty hot opinion about this.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's a lot of issues when it comes to fork etiquette. And the position I'm going to take might surprise you a little bit. But
okay.
Germ-phobes tend to drive me crazy.
Okay.
What is going to happen to the fork from the time it leaves your styrofoam container to the ground and you pick it back up? Is there going to be some sort of horrible bacteria that's going to get on the fork that will infect you for the rest of your life? No. Pick the fork back up, wipe it off on your jeans, which is probably dirtier than the ground anyway.
Sure.
Use it and forget about it, and let somebody else use that fork you would have otherwise wasted by going back to the food truck. That's a no-brainer. Lay down.
Wow.
Easy decision.
So
you weren't expecting that. Really.
I was not, yeah.
Well, when you said it was a hot opinion, I had to assume it was going to be something that would be a little controversial.
Very controversial.
So is this coming from a place of you don't want to waste the fork, or is it just quit being such a sissy and eat it?
No, I'm not a cause guy. It comes from a place of laziness.
Sure.
Go back, get another. If I'm at a restaurant and I drop a fork, I don't need 8 waiters come in and replace all my silverware.
Just wipe it off.
Pick it up, wipe it off the napkin, move on. It's like, I'm going to do a situation that might be, if you getting your hair cut and your stylist drops the comb on the ground next to the chair. There could be some random hair down there. Would you be upset if she were to pick that back up and continue combing your hair with it?
No, I would not, but I would be very bothered if she put that comb in my mouth.
I didn't say I'd eat with it, but similar situation. And they always feel horrible. They have to rinse it off, wash, bring in new combs. And I'm thinking, just wipe it off and use it again.
Well,
but I never say that.
At least wipe it off. Like give us the courtesy of at least wiping off the excess hair of somebody else. I'm not wanting to get lice today. That's
right.
A big question here, Matt. Did it? You probably couldn't tell because it was far away. Did it land tines up or tines down?
I could tell because it was close
Did
enough.
you really? Oh,
yes,
wow.
I have an answer to this question. It landed tines up, so it was curved up. So the bottom part of the fork was what was touching.
See, that is actually worse.
Yeah.
Because more surface area, absolutely, more surface area of the fork is being contaminated by whatever it is you're worried about that's on the ground.
Absolutely.
So that's more surface area. In fact, when you would eat with it, then you would be...
You're like rubbing it across your tongue.
Just munching on all those germs, whereas it would otherwise only be at the top of the fork prongs.
I'm not a germaphobe either. My wife, on the verge, is... and she would say, burn that fork and get a completely new one. I would have a hard time. If it was my house, I would be fine. But being this is a public area.
It's a very high traffic area
high
right in front of the elevator.
Well, it happened in front of the elevator. I mean, not a whole lot of feet there. If it had been the stairs, it would have been a lot worse. You know what I mean?
But, I mean, the bathroom is close by. I don't know. And the not knowing would make my meal less enjoyable.
Yeah.
Even if you wiped it off.
It would have to be like I would have to take it back to the sink and like wash
it with soap.
Soap and water, wash it, and then I would be fine.
Okay, so you are a germ phobe. I think you've learned more from your wife than you.
Yeah, she has wiped off on me a little bit.
I think I would at least give it a rinse. You know, I keep it because part of it is part of it is the laziness. I don't want to turn around and go back and get another fork. I'm halfway out.
There's a long line. You've got excuse me.
What am I doing? Yeah,
get in the way. They think you're ordering another thing of food. And you're only there to.
So I'm wiping that thing off, and I'll use it again.
It does make a difference that in this cafeteria you do have to ask for a fork. You can't just go get one, which means you got to go stand in line again.
Process.
And
right.
for me personally, it's a public space. I'd go get a new one. If it was in my home, it was private, nobody saw me, it's fine. But there's a whole lobby full of people out there. Who knows who is watching? There might be somebody talking about it on a show. So for all I know, I probably should have. Yeah, I probably should have gone back and got a new one.
That's the other thing. Is there a public shame along with that? If someone saw you, if a couple people saw you drop
It
a
wouldn't
fork,
be a
and
shame.
pick it
It'd
up.
be a public disgust.
Yeah.
Although some
Like, what's wrong
might
with you, man?
actually admire the fact that you just don't freak out over minor things like that, and they go, "Hey, there's a real man." He eats his fork, eats right off the ground.
That
with his
guy's
fork.
going
He's a
places.
camper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know my wife would firmly disagree, but the arguments me and her have is for her, like, whenever you do anything, you have to wash your hands. Like, before you do anything after, so, like, if you go to pick up the kid, be sure and wash your hands first. If you go outside and come back in, wash your hands. There's hand sanitizer stations in both of our cars. So every time you get in the car, hand sanitize, touch the
Stations?
wheel. Yeah, like little booths set up.
And this is 12 months here. This just isn't just during flu season.
No,
right?
this is year round. Flu season's it's amped up.
Well, you have a newborn.
We have a newborn, but this
you
is
got to
before.
be careful about that.
This
Now
was
that you have
before
to be
the.
careful.
This was before the newborn. Yeah.
Wait, so you have to clean your hands when you get in the car?
Yeah.
Before you touch the steering wheel?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
That's
I like that term.
that's
So
debilitating.
yeah, so it's funny because my wife's family is all kind of that way, and both of my mother-in-law's daughters, so my wife and then my brother-in-law's her sister, there you go, they both do that way, but they both married guys who are just kind of normal. Like, our parents are like, hey, go outside and play in the dirt, and we
rub a little dirt on it.
I wash my hands when I need to, like if they're sticky.
If there's something visible on it?
Yeah, I'll wash my hands. Or if I go to the bathroom, I obviously wash my hands. But I don't just go, well, okay, I touched this table, therefore I now must wash my hands before I do anything else that involves something that's not on this table. It's just one of those deals that for me it's a convenience factor, and I have a pretty healthy immune system. And all of the science is actually out there that says that if you wash your hands less, you actually get sick less often because you build up positive antibodies.
Your immune system.
So I love the fork talk. I would like to see what the comments are online. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But
Chime in on Fork Talk, please.
Yeah.
Hashtag Fork.
Next, when we come back, we're going to talk about what Bill Gates did on the Ellen DeGeneres show. He was having to try to pick out everyday common prices, and we have one of our own. We're going to do the reverse of that here in the studio. Coming up next on the Lunch Break Show with RNCN. And we are back on the Real News Talk Lunch Break Show. I am Josh Hart, joined as well with Matt Stoker and Zach Lewis. We're here every day on Facebook Live, and then we'll post this later on, maybe on YouTube. But we'll be here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 to 1 o'clock. We're joined in the studio again by Clint David. How's it going there, sir?
I'm back. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So now we were talking earlier about the Bill Gates going on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and he was there trying to guess everyday grocery prices. And let's see if I can find a good clip that kind of goes into showing you how, I don't want to say out of touch, but how his opinion of what he thinks food prices cost.
You saw that music rolling?
I do still have the music rolling, so let me go ahead and pause that. There we go.
There we go.
And let's go back up to this.
San Francisco treat, of course. How much do you think rice-a-roni would be within $1?
$5.
It's a box.
Oh, it's $1.
So you can tell, and again, it's not Bill Gates' fault. He admitted, I haven't been to the grocery store in years.
Would you say that he way overestimated on pretty much every item?
Well, and then he realized his error, because he's a smart guy.
Sure.
And so he realized his error on the rice-a-roni going too high. And so the next one was the pod, the little the Tide Pod things you put in the thing
that you eat.
Yeah, and he guessed like
Tasty.
$40 on that. Like, he went way over the top. Thinking that, or he went way over thinking that it would have to be a different price. He was trying to balance it out, and he couldn't ever figure out the formula. Finally, the last three, Ellen basically told him what the answers were going to be.
Yeah.
And I said it's not really his fault. And the example that I have on that is before I did this job, back right out of college, I worked for a family as their male caregiver for this guy who lived on Straight Lane, which is a very nice area in Dallas, Texas, and had $100 million plus estate. So they also were not doing their own grocery shopping. They had hired help. That they had a live-in maid, live-in housekeeper, live-in gardener, all the different kind of stuff. So I was only there a handful of times. But about a year or two into it, she told me to take one of the cars. She did not specify. So obviously I took the soft-top Bentley. Because she did not specify.
Naturally.
Yeah. And said, I need eggs, milk, and bread. Like the basics of all groceries. And she gave me a $100 bill and goes, is this going to be enough? And I was like, yes. And she said, good, you can keep the change. So, of course, I bought generic milk, bread, and eggs. I did not go for the fancy. No, I went generic. So,
not even organic eggs or
nope,
anything like that?
Nope, the whole thing. So I wanted the most return because I got to keep the change.
Businessman.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that kind of shows you how out of touch. Sometimes if you don't go grocery shopping, it's very easy to be out of touch. So I thought, you know what? Let's turn the tables and let's try to get in Bill Gates' realm. Now, Clint, you may have shopped for all of these things. I'm not sure how
you
well
are
your
dressed
law firm is doing.
very nicely.
Probably routinely, but what this reminds me is, of course, the Price is Right was a show on television that some of you might remember. I remember it well.
Sure, I used to watch it all the time.
So popular, and for some reason there is a fascination by people to guess what stuff costs. Either you overshoot it or you undershoot it, but it was always interesting.
Yeah.
And what does a washer dryer set cost? I don't know.
Yeah.
And neither do people in the audience. But that was a game show that lasted for years and years. It may still be on as far as I know. So this is very topical is what I'm trying to say.
I don't know that any of these items were ever featured on The Price is Right. Yes, we'll find out. I don't know if you remember any of these from a very expensive episode of that show.
If so, it'd only be on the Wealth Channel. They have
Sure, yeah. Let's start with a simple item.
Okay.
A watch.
A what?
A watch.
Okay.
A watch.
Well, like a Rolex
there's
or a
watches,
Casio?
then there's watches.
That's true. This is watches. This is watches with a capital W. This is a Patek Philippe watch. Ooh. This is the 5208 triple complication platinum. Mm-hmm. You may have heard of Rolex. This is a far, far step above Rolex.
Yep.
These are one of the nicest watches in the world. So how much do you think a Patek Philippe watch would cost?
So I like
It's pronounced paddock. At
Paddock,
least if
okay.
we're going to, yeah.
I apologize.
You're not, if you can't
Well, listen to
pronounce
this.
it now, you're not going to know what it costs.
Listen to this.
we're not even
I know what it
classy enough
costs.
to say it right. I like to look at watches. I would have mispronounced that as well.
Fine.
It's a Paddock.
Paddock Philippe.
Okay,
Paddock?
One of the great watches.
A Paddock Philippe. I'm gonna ballpark it and say 230,000.
230,000. Okay. Clint, I'll go to you last because apparently you know what you're talking
Well,
about.
I don't.
Zach, any guesses on the Patek Philippe watch?
I'm gonna go $230,001. No, I'm kidding. I'll go 300. 300,000. Why not?
Okay.
300 G's.
Describe the watch again.
It is the 5208 triple complication in platinum.
In platinum,
Yes.
$185,000.
You have all vastly underbid.
Wow.
Oh,
And I mean by nearly a factor of 10. It is $1.2 million
For a watch?
for a watch.
I didn't take the platinum into account.
That watch better bring me my car.
Wow, well, that's world class.
Yeah.
That is world class. Let's go with, how about an automobile?
Okay.
Okay.
This is the Mercedes Maybach S600.
Okay.
Typically, I would say used in a chauffeur model because the back seat is very nice.
I have
Okay.
actually ridden in one of those.
Have you?
Oh,
Yes, I have.
wow.
It wasn't mine.
Once
But
again,
I
Clint
did
has the
ride
home
in
field
one of those.
advantage.
They're very exclusive.
They are very nice, and I mean, would you agree that the back seat? It's almost like an office back there, right?
It
You
is.
can
It's
kind of
like
do
a-
anything you
It's
want.
a large bedroom. It's like a living room.
Yeah,
You're in another zip code from the driver.
right. Yeah. So these are made to be. It's not a limo, but these are made to be driven around. These are chauffeured cars. So a Maybach S600. What do you think that might go?
I'm gonna undershoot again. I know I am. I'm gonna say 300,000.
Okay. Zach, how about yourself?
Yeah, I got nowhere to come in here. 400,000. I don't know.
Okay.
1.2 million.
Now I'll say you have all overbid on this one. That's the at least the S600 model comes in at right around $200,000.
That's not bad.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not.
I'll
okay
take two
then.
of them.
So
yeah.
we can save up and get one for the
Yeah,
office.
there
We
you
can all
go.
be driven around.
Sell the
Gorilla
paddock
wrap on
and
it.
buy the car.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, let's go to. We got two more items here.
Okay.
Let's go to the private jet sector. Now, you've had a story about all of these so far. So, Clint,
Yes.
do you have a private jet, or have you been in
I
one?
do not own a private jet. However, yes, I do have friends that have private jets. I have been in them. It is amazing. You know what time the private jet leaves the airport?
Whenever you want, right?
Whenever you get on it.
Yeah.
It is a special treat. That,
It's incredible.
Again, I'm very far from that ether zone, but it's a
But
wonderful privilege.
They have them now, and I say more affordable. I think they'd be in your bracket where you don't own one, but you own like a timeshare where you,
You
get
can
like
do timeshare. You
yeah.
can charter.
them. Yeah, where you go. Hey, you know
But
what?
it's an incredibly expensive luxury to
Sure.
justify it. You've got to have money to burn.
Yeah. Okay,
But for someone who has that money, it's useful to get around. I mean,
Yeah.
you got places
Yes.
to go.
Bill Gates, Oprah, those
yeah.
kind of people. So I'm gonna say for what
Okay,
kind of
so
jet?
this is to purchase the jet. Now, this
Okay.
is not for a pilot or operation costs or anything. This is just purchasing the jet. A Gulfstream G650.
Ooh, the G6.
Oh,
the G6 is 1.3 million.
Okay, 1.3 million. Zach, what do you think?
I'll go under
You're putting it in a
Josh this time.
ballpark with a watch, by the way. Just letting you know.
Right. I'll say million flat.
Okay, 1 million. All right,
The G6 Gulfstream,
the Gulfstream G650.
2.38 million.
$65 million.
Well, if you're going the highest, I mean, I actually won one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is awful.
All right. Our last, since this is Bill Gates' world, our last item is a 414-foot yacht, which is owned by Microsoft co-founder Paul Allen. Mm-hmm. This yacht comes equipped with a pool, movie theaters, and 2 helicopters.
Of course.
I don't
Movie
know that
theaters, plural?
Yes, movie theaters, plural. The helicopters, I don't believe, are included in the price. Just a pad, at least.
Yeah.
A space for 2 helicopters. So, how much do you think this 414-foot yacht costs?
$65 million.
Okay.
$112 million.
Okay.
I'm going to have to say $113 million.
Ooh, all right. The power
I think
play.
it's up into that range.
You're at least getting closer. $200 million.
Ugh.
Wow.
Custom yacht.
400-foot boat is
That's a sizable.
That's a big
It's a
boat.
sizable watercraft.
I have never been on a yacht. I have walked onto a private plane, but that was for the man that I work for. They would go on theirs, but they shared it. They had like 4 families all shared one, and so they would just basically like, hey, email, hey, I'm using the plane for this. Okay, got it, great. But they had the coolest things to customize the plane for each family. They had leather like seat headrest covers. So they would like put on the headrest for each name of the family. So you would, like, you'd walk in, and their dogs had their own seats on the plane. They had
that's
5
nice.
dogs. Yeah. So the dogs had seats. I didn't have a seat.
That reminds me of the days when I just started driving, and my dad owned a nice Acura. And I said, hey, I'm going to borrow the Acura for the evening.
Wow, you must have had a hot day. So that is a glimpse into Bill Gates' world. Obviously, you know, he doesn't buy that kind of stuff either. He's a pretty simple guy.
He also didn't have a podcast, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Who's winning now?
Clint, thanks for coming on. I appreciate
you
it.
bet.
Anytime, please stop by.
I'll do
We love having you on. When we come back, we're going to talk about a new trend that's happening in nursing homes, and we want to get your opinion on it. And we are back on the RNCN lunch break show here. Again, this is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock on Facebook. And actually, I think we're debating right now, a little behind the scenes, we're debating whether or not to be live on Facebook or to go live on YouTube. If you guys have any thoughts on that, please let us know.
Chime in. Leave a comment.
I'm here with Matt Stoker and Zach Lewis. And we're talking about this headline that I saw that grabbed my attention. And it said that nursing home hires pole dancers. And this is,
Really?
It's in the UK, so it's not here in the U.S. So if you're putting your mom and dad in a nursing home, it's not going to help you here. But a UK, it's to entertain their guests, entertain the people who are at the nursing home. They're putting in pole dancers. Now, I'm guessing, and again, that they're not going to go full nude. It'll just be like more of a burlesque pole dancing
It's more
show.
of an acrobatic showcase.
Than it
if
is.
you will.
Yeah, than it is something that happens on like Harry Hines. It's the real thing. So I want to get your thoughts on this.
You know what? I think go for it. I like the idea. I mean, I've spent a little time around a nursing home, and I think anything they can do to help folks feel better or help them give them a little bit of entertainment. I think I think that's fine. I'm not going to be a prude about it. And again, like you said, it's probably not what you think of. I mean, people say pole dancer and they think strip club, but it's probably not that. I imagine it's just the same as if you were to bring in, any sort of artist or a musician or a dancer or something like that.
I think some guy like playing acoustic covers of Bon Jovi is a smidge different than pole dancing.
Maybe, but not that different. I mean, you hang around and watch the show, right? That sounds all right.
Zach, do you have an opinion?
I do. On the one hand, I wonder if this is a little sensational. Like, you remember when the Nintendo Wii came out and they were like, they're putting it in senior citizens' homes. It's super popular.
Sure.
Like, I don't know how far that actually got, but I think, adult life, work, this thing we do called society, that's like dinner. Retirement is dessert. All right. So you did your time in the salt mines. You worked hard. You're entitled to a little something at the end of the day, at the end of a long road. So yeah, if you're stuck in a senior citizen home, you're I don't know, your family didn't want to take care of you or something. Yeah, absolutely. Wow. You deserve a dance or two. Why not?
Hey, this is definitely one way to have your grandson come visit you. Oddly enough, it's always around 10 p.m. on Friday that he's showing up.
Right.
Yeah.
After just going to the ATM.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, next you're going to tell me they have like an awesome buffet.
Some of them do.
They said, so the people who are against it say it's wildly inappropriate and it could have long-lasting damaging effects.
What does that mean? Long-lasting damage?
That's one of those very vague and generic terms. The director for the nursing home itself, Peter Hall, said that he thinks that there's been no complaints and the senior citizens really seem to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not a requirement that you have to come see it. It's not an area where you're going there because you want to go there. Is the way they have it set up.
Pole dancers this way.
Yeah, the giant arrow. Yeah. Soup this way. It's done differently. So I'm for it. Now, you were saying something about trends in Asia?
Yes, this is in China specifically. And in fact, it's a problem that they've been trying to control for many years. And they've renewed their efforts, which is to cut down on the amount of exotic dancers at funerals. This is a thing that happens apparently in some of the more rural provinces.
Yeah.
I guess it was more widespread, but they've managed, at least in the cities, to kind of tamp down on this practice. But still, out in the hinterlands, they still will invite exotic dancers to come do a show at a funeral. The apparent thinking, this is not just let's have a big party for a funeral, but the apparent thinking is, at least in that culture, that the more people you gather together at a funeral to wish well to the dearly departed, the better chance they'll have to get to a restful afterlife or something like that. So they think anything they can do. I mean, this is not just limited to strippers. This could be musicians or other types of displays, but the exotic dancers are fairly popular, and they're trying to say, hey, knock it off.
Yeah, I know that different cultures celebrate death differently.
Sure.
So, again, I talked about my wife a lot, but she's Filipino, and when her grandmother passed away, we went to the funeral, and there were, people, taking pictures, close up. So, in at least their little, corner of the Philippines, they take pictures of the mourners, and that's something that you have your book of a scrapbook of the funeral where
of the people that are in attendance. They take
that are crying and stuff, so you can go through and remember that moment.
Remember the
which
sadness.
is not something that, at least in my neck of the woods, being born in Dallas and raised in East Texas,
no,
that you did. It was something that you went to. No one took pictures. You didn't want to remember it.
It's generally frowned upon. Yeah, I remember when smartphones really started becoming a thing, or I guess it was probably more accurately maybe Twitter or Instagram when that first came around, that there was a big trend of people taking selfies at funerals. They were taking selfies with the body.
Yeah.
And there was a big hullabaloo about, these kids are millennials these days are taking selfies with dead bodies, and they're posting it saying goodbye to grandma, and they're posting it on Twitter. So the fall of society, I guess, is what they were saying.
Because it seems disrespectful. To me, because I kept looking around, going, "Who's this guy with the DSLR giant camera and just on multiple shot, taking pictures?"
Semi-automatic.
Yeah. taking pictures of people, like, and they took pictures of people like crying over the casket, and, like got up close to, like, people who were like in attendance, and while they were crying, I was like capturing the sadness. And I'm looking around, going, "Who else is as appalled as I am?"
Did they get you on the
No.
camera?
They, the one pale face in the room was not captured.
Josh just looks shocked.
Yeah, I'm like, no, it's just like one of those deals. And then finally, like, obviously, if no one else was going to be bothered by it, I wasn't going to say anything.
You're not going to raise a fuss.
Yeah, and so we walked out, and I asked my wife about it at the time, my girlfriend, and she was saying, "Oh yeah, that's how they do things in like old custom. That's an older custom.
Yeah,
that's not that trend isn't staying alive. That's an old custom of doing things, and a lot of photographers." Only do funerals. That's like their thing. They're a funeral photographer.
So this is like the wedding photographer, but they're only contracted to do funerals.
Yeah, which to me would be a horrible existence. To have to go into it. But again, like if somebody wants it, because you have to be like professional and like and so it was a really bizarre glimpse into how other cultures honor that. So it makes sense to me. Is what I'm saying.
So this is not just like Aunt June is coming with her camera and going to take a few pictures of it. This is
3 or 4 guys and all like black, so they kind of blend in because it's a funeral, but they're like dressed like to be inconspicuous, just with giant cameras and just
See, in my funeral, I'd have to phone it in and get one of those like wedding photo booths, right, where people can go in and get like a film strip of 4 photos,
go cry in front of the.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like wacky hats.
I do it in like black and white, be real classy about it. Yeah,
I want mine to be a party. Like at my funeral, I want to be cremated. I don't want the whole like ceremony where like some guy walks up and like lies about what a good guy I was. I want none of that. I want a little like urn to be in the corner next to like a Manhattan or something.
Yeah.
And like cool music, come like talk, share stories amongst yourself about my life, and then call it a day. I don't want a big like fanfare.
I hear people say that, but I wonder how often that wish is actually carried out.
Slim to none.
Because it's, I mean, at that point, it's more of a family thing, right? It's not.
Yeah.
It has little to do with you, the deceased. It's what the family wants to do, and if the family wants to be sad, then
you can put it in your will.
That you have to have a
So if you're going to have like this has to be done. If you want to have a separate one that you pay for, knock yourself out.
Yeah.
But you can hire someone who their job is to make sure that your dying wish is executed according to your wishes.
A funeral planner.
A funeral. Well, no.
Party
But
planner.
it's like a. I forget the actual term, but like they make sure that your will is followed.
Everybody better be having fun at this funeral. Darn it.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to see more smiles. Get the bounce houses going.
It's an interesting world that we live in. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the Real News Lunch Break Show, we are going to be discussing the Olympics and what's on this weekend and what happened in curling that is making the news. We are back to do some Olympic talk. I'll be honest, I haven't watched any of the Olympics for the Winter Games.
I don't even know if they're using this theme, but I love it.
They have to be. This is
It's the theme.
Yes, it's the theme. When you Google Olympic theme, this is what comes up.
I think they might be using a different one, but this one is still great.
Yeah.
I'm going to pot that up.
There it is. You know, there's like on YouTube somewhere, there's Olympic theme 10 hours like loop. You ever see those?
Hey, getting ready in the morning. This is some pretty awesome, like getting psyched music.
Sure, yeah.
So
Get
Olympics,
you pumped for competition.
The Olympics. Y'all guys want to talk about the awesomeness that happened with the U.S. first, or what's coming up today and tomorrow?
I feel like every day there's some new. The U.S. did something great at every day. There's something. There's some kind of new thing. I don't want to say I'm desensitized to it, but I am curious. What did we do that was so great?
I'm going to say that's inaccurate because from the reports I'm reading, the U.S. hasn't done a whole lot impressive.
Really? I've been lied to. Fake news.
Yeah, fake news. We've gotten beat a lot in a lot of things, but
I can't win them all.
we did beat the Canada on the ice, not hockey, which would have been awesome, but in curling. So now we play today for the curling gold medal.
So this seems to me almost akin to the Miracle on Ice, right? Curling has to be Canada's sport.
Yeah.
You would think if there were any, other than ice hockey, right? But you would think curling. I always assumed that just came from Canada, so they ought to be the big dogs when it comes to curling.
Right? Who else is sliding rocks around on ice?
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And here comes the upstart Americans, the young curlers, and they come in and they defeat.
Yeah.
The big team.
Team captain John Schusterer.
Household name.
Had an incredible upset. An incredible upset in the semifinals to take the win 5-3. I have no idea how they even keep scoring curling. I do know it's an awesome sport. Good for you, curling team in the U.S. There are a lot of things happening in the U.S. In the Olympics today. We're going to go through, and here's what to watch for. Because I think I want to be more involved. I want to watch something. I like the one where they ski around and shoot guns.
Yes, the biathlon.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing till this year, and it is awesome. I'll check that out. Whatever's going on there, it's cool.
Man.
Well, at 2 o'clock our time, the men's biathlon is happening.
That's like an hour from now.
Is that today?
That is today.
90 minutes?
Yeah.
Throw that up on the big screen.
Yeah, done. That's happening. They're doing the relay. It's for the gold medal final. So whoever wins gets the gold in that today. And then tonight at 7 o'clock our time is Alpine Skiing. We did have to Google that. What is Alpine Skiing?
Well, there's just a million different ways to ski. There's the big jumps. There's the slalom. I assume they're still doing that. I don't know.
Sure.
So what is Alpine?
Doing it with guns.
Oh, I did. I thought you were Googling.
Oh, you want me to? Hold on.
I did not.
Everybody stand by.
My apologies. Let's do some live Googling.
Hey,
of what
while I've
Alpine
got the
skiing is.
chance, real quick about curling, big surprise, America manages to find the one sport on ice with seemingly the least amount of exercise or work involved, and that's the one we're good at.
Hey, those guys with the brooms, if you've ever watched curling live, the guys with the brooms have to do a lot of hustling.
Oh, they got to sweep fast.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, those guys can sweep. Sweep you right off your feet.
Here
All
we
right,
go.
so I have the Wikipedia. This is our
Got it.
A trusted and reputable
legitimate
source.
Alpine skiing is the sport or recreation of sliding down snow-covered hills. Are you with me so far?
I'm there, yeah.
On skis with fixed heel bindings. They're characterized by the mechanical assistance getting to the top of the hill, of course, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking to see here what competition is. Racing. So I guess it's a number of different events can be classified under alpine skiing. But competitive skiing is divided into the slaloms, the downhill, the combined. So I imagine it's just a matter of getting through the course quickly. So
and then you can obviously at 1 a.m. this morning set your clocks if you're a hockey fan because the men's hockey semifinal will be live at that point in time. So again, a lot of fun stuff. If you want to watch women do some curling, don't worry, that's going to be tomorrow at 11:30.
Don't worry, you haven't missed it.
Yeah. There's tons of action. I am going to try to make it a point to watch the men's biathlon at 2 o'clock today.
Let's put that on.
Let's see if we can put it on the screen. That
guns.
is, I don't know how. Basically, it's
Get down to
cross-country
business.
skiing, and then they shoot. Yeah. Again, that's. I would like to know how many people are actually watching because it's not on my feed a whole lot. I'm not seeing a lot of people talking about it.
What are they going? They're shooting targets. What do you just ski up to the next target and shoot it, and then you move on?
Yep, exactly how that works.
Yeah, you ski to a shooting range basically and grab a gun and
What? And again, I'm not trying to be a naysayer.
All right,
What is the practical application of that?
that sounds like naysaying.
What
imagine,
is the practical application of that?
I mean, when you think about it, you in a country that maybe is snowed over for most of the year, or perhaps even all the year. I mean, how else are you getting around? You're skiing around. You may have to hunt. So you're skiing up to the animal and shooting it and skiing it back home. I imagine would be where that came from.
Right. It's like people in Norway just skating everywhere. Like you just have to ski everywhere, and when your town snowed over and you don't have electricity, you got to go hunt for food.
Yeah,
and
what are you gonna do?
That's what that is.
Fair enough. I guess I am.
Shoot
I'll stand corrected. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we have food news that you need to know about. Food news.
We need a sounder for food news.
Yeah, food news. And again, you know what I want to say before we get started? Happy Margarita Day.
Oh.
Yeah, today is National
There's some
Margarita
food
Day.
news.
So there you
Today
go.
is Margarita Day?
Today is Margarita Day.
Oh,
so
man.
We'll,
All right.
we'll cover that more in food news coming up next. And we are back on Real News Talk, Lunch Break Show. I am Josh Hart here with Matt Stoker and Zach Lewis, and we are talking about all things trending and happening in your world right now. One of the things that we have let slip for the first 40 minutes is that today is National Margarita Day.
Yes.
And if you go to National
thirsty.
Margarita Day, I accidentally said a place of a margarita here in Dallas, and it's at some place that Matt was adamantly against, and he immediately shut me down. Where
what
is
is this
the
place?
original margarita from?
Well, this is what they claim.
Okay.
But it is at Mariano's Hacienda on Abrams and Skillman in Northeast Dallas.
They claim
They have a big iron machine there, and it says the first now this is frozen margarita, not the mixed drink, which I'm sure comes from
Sugar,
somewhere
lime,
else.
and tequila.
Right,
Yeah.
but this is the frozen margarita, which to me is the
Best.
The best.
Yeah.
I mean, I get people just like the liquid, but if I'm gonna have a margarita, I want it to be frozen.
Is that a guy thing? Because I think the frozen are best too, and I feel like a lot of the feminines they like it on the rocks.
Do they?
Am I
I
wrong?
would have thought that
Yeah.
like the manly factor would be like, no, I'm having my margarita on the rocks.
Yeah.
I don't need no slushy.
Yeah.
I don't need
I'm
no
all about
alcoholic
the slushy.
But I love them. Like,
Yeah.
I love the frozen margarita.
Whereas I'm like, put an umbrella on that, please. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you salt or no
Salt on the
I'm
rim,
salt.
please.
I'm not.
And this is going to be weird, and I apologize. I like to lick the rim first and then drink.
Sure.
As opposed, wait.
To just taking a drink and letting the salt hit the drink.
Yeah,
and
So it's more like a tequila shot. To me.
yeah.
It's curious. Yeah, I'll go somewhere and they'll give me a salt-rimmed margarita frozen with a straw. Like, well, what does that
Yeah,
do?
what do you got?
Yeah,
What is the salt?
what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Ooh. Okay.
It's just more for looks. I
Yeah.
guess you could still
Then you gotta lick
get a
it.
taste of the
Well, if you're not going to go to La Hacienda or the Hasa,
Mariano's Hacienda.
that's the one.
Tell 'em we sent you.
If you're not going to go there, yeah. If you're not going to go there, then you can go to El Phoenix because they're having $1 margs all day.
I like El Phoenix.
Also,
They got good tortilla soup.
Tony Roma's is having a $4 margarita. That's handshaking classic.
Okay.
And then On the Border is doing $2 margaritas all day.
I don't know if I can believe in the $1 margarita. You know what I mean?
I can.
Like in college, at Applebee's
Oh,
at
gosh.
1 a.m., totally. Yeah, I was into it. But nowadays, man, I don't know.
There was a place in Plano called Planet Burrito. I'm sure it's gone by now. At least the one in Plano is. I think the whole thing shut down. You could get a burrito the size of a baby, like a small newborn baby.
Yeah.
And they had $1 margaritas every day from 4 until like 7 or 8 p.m. It was just a ridiculous time frame to have
Yeah.
margaritas. And so I would go, and yeah, they weren't like the greatest,
But they got the job
They
done.
got the job done. You could spend $7 and get 7 margaritas and feel pretty good about the fact that you just ate a baby-sized burrito, which is tough to do.
So I had a roommate in college who thought he was going to pull one over on there was a Fridays on campus, TGI Fridays, and they had the ultimate margarita. So he thought he was going to pull one over on the because he noticed something about it. So he thought he was going to get one over on the bartender. So he said, "I'll have the ultimate margarita, no ice." Because what they would do is they just they'd fill the glass full of ice and then just fill it. So you're getting maybe a quarter of what of the glass. So he says, "I'll have the ultimate margarita with no ice." So they bring it to him, and it's just the same amount of liquid. It's just he thought he was going to get a full glass of margarita for the same price. I'm like, how did you think that was going to work?
Could have a side of ice as well. Thank you. Yeah,
that is fantastic.
One of the people that I've been told has the best margarita, and that is the place in Fort Worth. Joe T. Garcia's.
Yes, Joe T. Garcia's. I love Joe T. Garcia's. Now, people will say it's overrated, but if you are looking for a cool place to take a date, they have this nice outdoor patio. Probably not right now is great, but when it warms up a little bit, Joe T. Garcia's, get yourself some enchiladas and a margarita. That's great.
I don't know this. Where is it? Like downtown or kind of outskirts?
Stockyards, yeah. You take the road going to Stockyards, and it was a little. The weird part about Joe T. Garcia's for me, the food's pretty good.
It's fine.
The margaritas are phenomenal because they put Everclear in there. So the margaritas
don't mess around.
Yeah, the margaritas will get the job done.
This is like high school senior party margaritas.
But the whole thing is cash only.
Yes.
And so I'm like,
cash only.
Anytime you put cash only, I'm assuming you're a front. Right off the bat, you're a front for something.
Right.
And that's why you do cash only. Because it's nachos, tacos, enchiladas, and really good margaritas. And it's cash only.
I got to be honest. Those margaritas are probably incredible, but I don't know if I can support a place that's cash only. Like if I go to a parking lot downtown, it's cash only. I won't park there again later because it's the 21st century. This cash only thing has got to go.
Get with it.
We have Square apps that can go in a phone. Like it's overrated.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how we feel about that, but that's what they're saying is the best margarita in town. We also have other in food news, which is there's a new flavor of peep. Now, peep comes out during Easter. Those little Easter chicks.
Well, I was just having a discussion about peeps the other day.
Okay.
Where do you fall on the
useless?
The peep? Useless.
Yeah.
Okay.
Peep is decoration only for me.
It's marshmallow basically.
Yeah.
It's a type of marshmallow.
Yeah. It has no flavor, no texture.
Yeah.
I despise it.
Yeah.
So I have a pretty low opinion of the peep.
So maybe this food news is not for you. What is the new? Does this new flavor get you on board?
Well, it's already come out. No, it's supposed to be sour cherry is the new flavor of peep.
Oh, well, no, color me intrigued because cherry is one of my favorite flavors, and sour is one of my favorite flavors as well.
So you have
a sour cherry.
Perfect. Yeah.
And color me intrigued.
And that's going to be for the peep. And it was supposed to come out for Valentine's Day. Apparently, they missed the mark.
They didn't make it. The boys in the lab couldn't get it together.
Yeah. So don't worry, though. Easter, you can celebrate the risen Savior with some sour cherry peeps. That is the new trend.
You know what? I'll give that a shot.
Yeah. And also, new in food news is M&M's. Also a new flavor of M&M's.
This sounds more like candy news than food
well,
news.
You know what? It's mine. So this I can actually be on board with. Neapolitan flavored M&M's.
All right. So that would be chocolate, vanilla, and then strawberry, I assume. Is the,
Now, here's what I don't know yet because I haven't really read the whole thing. But I don't know if that's a chocolate, a vanilla, and a strawberry M&M
like
in a
individual,
bag, or if each bite has layers, which is what they should do.
Yeah.
It should be.
But that
each
sounds like
M&M.
too much work, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
that
sounds like
does.
Yeah. They might do that.
So, Zach, to catch you up because you just had a visitor,
I
the boss came in the studio.
Believe it or not, I almost put him on, but I
Yeah.
figured I'd wait and hear your peep conversation the best I could.
Yeah. When the boss comes in, all things shut down in the production room. So the boss is gone. The new M&M is out for Neapolitan.
Okay.
And I now can read this. What it's saying is that there's going to be one chocolate, one vanilla, and one strawberry. Equal amounts, 1/3 each in a bag.
M&Ms?
M&Ms. And so when you grab a handful, we all eat M&Ms by the handful, right? We're not doing individual
totally.
bites of M&Ms.
I haven't had an M&M in years. Right. I'm not meaning to scoreboard.
Yeah.
No, really though.
I don't eat good diet of chocolate.
Explain to me how vanilla and strawberry M&Ms work. It's chocolate in a candy coated shell.
Yeah. But like the flavor, so like the flavor of the shell. So how you can like change
Oh,
flavors.
so it's still chocolate.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's
But
still
the
chocolate.
candy coating is
So you can
flavorful.
smell it. It smells like chocolate ice cream coming out of the bag. As you dip into it, you get notes of chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry
Notes.
together in every piece. So yes, every piece is going to have flavors. That's how they should. Good.
Okay.
I'm glad they did the right thing. That's
Right,
how they should have done it.
I'm interested.
Yeah. So if you see that on the shelf,
Peanut butter M&Ms are still king,
oh god, yeah.
but this sounds interesting.
I try to lose weight. I honestly do. But Reese's
doesn't?
peanut butter cups
Oh my god.
just do me in.
Oh, and now's the time of year for peanut butter eggs, which are the king of
Yeah.
the Reese's peanut butter cup, because it's the perfect amount
Yeah.
of peanut butter to chocolate.
God willing, I don't get diabetes because I'll lose a foot to be able to have a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Just take it off.
Yeah, take it off. It's going to happen. Just save.
The peanut butter egg, the Reese's peanut butter cup egg, is the pumpkin candy corn equivalent of a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about? 'Cause
Oh,
I know
yeah.
you like those.
I
Yeah,
love the
you're-
pumpkins.
You're into the pumpkin candy corn. Yeah, it's a candy corn plus some.
You like
and that's,
candy corn?
That's a
Yes.
Reese's peanut
I'm
butter
a
egg.
big fan of the autumn mix. You get the well, no. Now let me take that back because I don't like the chocolate candy corn.
The natural
But
blend.
I like the
Okay.
regular candy corn, and I love the pumpkins.
This is a different chat for a different day. I don't want to get lost in the weeds. One more food news that I was waiting for Zach to come back from talking, and that
Sorry.
is that's fine. And that is Chipotle.
Oh, I
is
love it.
Going to introduce a new thing
Now, the last time they did this, there was a huge backlash.
because it was awful.
Yes.
the
It was
queso.
terrible.
They're going to introduce quinoa.
Yawn.
But
Yawn,
Zach,
yeah, who cares?
Zach is a health nut. He may appreciate
Will
the
you
quinoa.
will you get quinoa? on
Well, that depends. Is quinoa like a substitute for the meat or the main kind
Yeah,
of course?
quinoa is a protein, but it's like it looks like rice or grain, but it's more of a protein.
Right.
so yeah, would it go in place of the rice, or would it go in
It
place
would go
of
in place
the
to
meat?
me, and I could be totally getting this wrong. I like quinoa.
Yeah.
And I've seen quinoa used at vegetarian restaurants and vegan restaurants as if it were like meat.
Okay.
So I'm guessing that's what it would replace.
Because they do have a vegetarian option now, but although I think it's probably like tofu or something like that. I don't
like
know that
it's
it's.
Satan. It's like Satan. That's how you pronounce it. Like Satan is S-A.
Satan, that's-
Yeah,
I thought
Satan,
you were
whatever
just
it is.
making a value
Yeah.
judgment on it.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it is
Satan.
literally Satan.
Yeah, no, I think that's what it is. Yeah, it's that like basically vegan meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So either way, I'm curious to see how bad this turns out, but we'll have to wait and see.
One more bit of food news.
Yeah, please.
I was just alerted that we have a food truck parked out front. Where do you fall on food trucks? Are you a fan of food trucks?
No.
Really?
Yep,
Like
hate 'em.
you come down.
Also not a
Wait
food
minute.
truck fan.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
Here's my problem. Here's my problem with food trucks. One is they have the exact same prices. If I went and sat down, had food brought to me, ordered it, take
Well,
out
yeah,
for
they
services.
drive it around. Like, what do you?
No, because now you've cut out all the cost of having a brick and mortar restaurant, of having servers, and all. You've cut out all that cost. I have to wait in line as if I'm buying a hot dog to get like your version of this perfected barbecue sandwich. I'm still buying food out of your trunk, essentially. And you want to charge me $9 or $10 for a barbecue sandwich when I can go down to Daddy Sam's to get Daddy Sam's. I can go down to Sonny Bryant's and get the exact same thing for like $5 or $6.
Where's Sonny Bryant's from here?
Down the road.
Okay.
Down the
Where's
tollway.
the food truck from?
Right
here?
outside.
Exactly.
I'm not. No, I'm not, because you parked it in front of me. I'm not spending more money.
It comes right to you.
It should be cheaper. It should be cheaper.
Okay,
and it's
fair.
not.
Oh, slightly cheaper. I'm not going to say
$5. If they had the same price as Sonny Bryant's, I would be fine
Okay.
with it.
Well, I mean, barbecue places are priced differently.
They're priced differently, and again, a Heart Eights is going to be more expensive, but that's a better
Yeah.
to me. A better like I'm not getting Heart Eights barbecue at that shop.
This place is called Yummy Smoked Barbecue.
Well,
so
it's gotta be good.
You got to tell me, Zach. Are you following? Are you the same reasons why you don't like food trucks? Or is
That and a couple other things. First, highway robbery, pun intended.
Thank
and
you.
secondly, here's what gets me: the food truck like
Nonsense.
parks. Have you seen those where they have like multiple food trucks in
I
one
love
spot?
those.
What is that? Like,
Take me to Clyde Warren
Why
Park.
not just
They
go
got
to
them
like
all
a
lined
strip
up.
center with some restaurants
Yeah,
or
Truck
something?
yard and Greenville.
Here's where the food truck misses the mark. Is when they have those, when they have the little food truck parks, they're serving their full menu. Nonsense. Because the benefit of that is I can bounce around to different and like have samples.
So you want like a mini menu?
Give me an
Give me like a half
appetizer
sandwich.
of like what you guys offer.
Yeah.
When you're at the park like that, when you're at Clyde Warren, don't give me a $13 sandwich, because then that's all I can have.
Right. Unfortunately, the price is a big issue. If I have to pay more than like $9 for something I buy out of a truck, we're on the wrong track.
So much truck hate here. Now, would you like it better if they drove around like an ice cream truck? Like they cruised through your neighborhood, playing the barbecue song.
Yeah, I want my baby. Yeah,
and you just had to run out and catch it.
No, I like having them located. I just think like the whole benefit of using a food truck to me is a value play.
I was not ready for this conversation to go this way.
And they missed the value play for me. They overcharge for what should be a value play. Not having a brick and mortar location, not having to pay for insurance and rent and all that stuff, to have a brick and mortar location, having narrowed down your menu to like 4 or 5 things, which cuts down your cost tremendously, should lower the price of the food. And when it doesn't, and I know that because I've sat down at a big barbecue place that has to pay for rent, has to pay for a liquor license, and has to pay for the cable and all the stuff that they have inside that location, and it's the exact same price, if not a little bit more, for the sole purpose of me not driving there. No.
Sounds to me like we need to get one of these guys on the show.
Let's go see if he's free.
We've had some salty food at food trucks. No, I do think if a food truck can be niche, if they can have something I can't get anywhere else, now we're talking. Now we've got a conversation. Like we had a woman a while back, I think it was like Ruthie's grilled cheese.
Yes.
Food trucks
Ruthie's
or something.
is great.
Yeah, she had some kind of item that was like some kind of grilled cheese monstrosity with barbecue and pickles or something.
It's delicious.
Yeah, and it was like $5. But see, that's something. That's something I can get on board. If I'm in a ball game and they got a place outside and they got a truck, like, okay, maybe. But for the most part, if I have the option between a cafeteria or getting in my car and going somewhere to eat food, or stumbling outside in the rain to a shady truck, I'm going to go for one of the... Yeah. Well, it does say yummy on the side, to be fair.
It does. It's painted. Like, that doesn't look like...
Yeah.
When was the last time a food inspector walked around a mobile kitchen?
I imagine they have to.
Where are you going to find me at?
They're going to catch you?
Yeah, catch me. See? Too many things. I'm out. And on that beautiful note, we're going to leave you here. This has been the RNCN Lunch Break Show. Again, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can find our bright and shiny faces right here talking about what we think is trending and topical. Please feel free to shoot us an email at joshhart@realnewspr.com if you have any comments or commentaries or stories that we missed. Or you can also comment on the Facebook page. We are currently on that. That's going to be on the Real News Communication Network. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Let me know what you think about food trucks.
Exactly, yeah. Please give food truck commentary. Again, I'm Josh. This is Matt and Zach. Thanks for listening.